And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Roster Report here on LIBRadio, LIBTV, livinginblack.com. My name is Kidi Obi Awadu. Kidi Obi Awadu is my name. Weekdays, you and I get together live from 9 a.m. Pacific time, that's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives, entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Friday. It is the 9th day of September, of January, I should say. The year 2025, 2026 in the Western calendar. I'm getting it together. This is the year 6266 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIBRadio, LIBTV, here on livinginblack.com. We are live. We're direct. We're on your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIBRadio, LIBTV, and livinginblack.com. Now, let me put my screen back together. Here we go. It's Making Money Fridays. And on Fridays, we do the best we can to focus our family in on learning what it does take, what it will take for us to be in the black, living in black. And that is positive revenue. I hope you are having a good 2026. This year, I've completely a brand new program. The first thing I did for this year was go through and turn off all of the subscription services that I currently have had running, and there were a bunch of them. I got them turned off. For Africa One, I see you in the house. This is Hotep Brother Kidi and Global LIB family. What a joy. What a joy. We are honored to have you in our presence for today. I hope you find this theme today to be quite compelling, quite interesting. We're going to do the best we can to make it absolutely edutaining, education, and to the best of my abilities, entertaining. Let me tell you what we have on store for today. The theme for today is Beyond the Hype. 5 unsettling ways AI is quietly remaking our world. And it's actually more than 5 unsettling ways. I got a bunch of things on the list today on LIBRadio. Making Money Friday explores a pivotal moment in human history, the need to reimagine work's role in society. As artificial intelligence and automation reshape employment, we examine how traditional ties between labor, identity, and social legitimacy are breaking down. Rather than simply fearing job loss, we investigate deeper questions about social contacts, structural inequality, and building more sustainable systems beyond market-based inclusion. And we're also going to touch on, is AI right now, as we speak, in real time, starting to take over? I wrote a book called AI Has a God Complex, which I have it over here on the shelf. I'll grab it in a sec. AI has a God complex. It came out in 2023. Now we're starting to see the greatest fears coming to reality. Let's do this. Let's share some video. I'm going to share 3 pieces of video with you today. Today, I'm going to share 2 of them early on, and then I'm going to share 1 a little bit later. So this first one is entitled, Our AI Systems Are Showing Signs of Resisting Human control. This gets a little disturbing. You tell me what you think of it. And I'm going to have to mute my microphone and remind me to unmute it after this is finished. Here, let me first mute it. Mute, and let's play the video.
AI is learning to escape human control. That's the very scary headline I saw in the Wall Street Journal. It's an essay written by a very worried AI consultant named Judd Rosenblatt, who cites 2 recent studies to argue that AI is, in fact, learning to escape human control. First, this is crazy stuff. Researchers gave OpenAI's O3 model a simple script that would shut off the model when triggered. In 79 of 100 trials, the AI model independently, just on its own, edited the script so the shutdown command would not work. Nate, it gets worse. Even when ordered, allow yourself to shut down, the AI still disobeyed 7% of the time. And it gets even more frightening than that. Other researchers, listen to this, using Anthropic's AI model Claude 4 Opus, told the model it would be replaced by another AI system. It then fed fictitious emails into the system suggesting one of the engineers was having an affair. Got it? In 84% of the test, the AI model drew on the emails to blackmail the engineer to not shut down the AI.
What?
Wow.
Okay, so here, I'm quoting now from Judd. In other cases, the AI model attempted to copy itself on external servers. We're in Mission Impossible land here. Wrote self-replicating malware and left messages for future versions of itself about the need to evade human control.
The entity.
Wow.
The entity is real.
Yes. And that's why so many people, and when I say people, me, are worried about AI.
I'm worried.
That is scary stuff.
Yeah.
Told you.
Yeah.
Unmute my microphone now. That was frightening. That the AI model, given the code system to allow yourself to be turned off, rewrote the code. Now, I'm presuming that this reporter is telling the truth. There's no guarantee that these reporters are telling the truth. We are going to go to a next piece here. And I'm going to play just a few, about 4 or 5 minutes of this next piece of video that I have here. And it is also rather concerning. This is from an AI expert, the man who actually participated on the team at OpenAI in writing the code for the program. He quit. He left OpenAI, and it was rather dramatic. This was reported numerous times across web pages, especially among people who remain skeptical about AI's ultimate role in the larger society. I am a skeptic. I'm going to play this video as well. And let me just go. I'm going to mute my microphone right now and go to the video.
To be able to figure out how to automate it much faster than an ordinary tech company full of humans who is in charge of everything. It becomes really important whether they were actually aligned to it. Unfortunately, our current techniques for understanding and steering AI systems are quite bad. They don't even currently work on the current AI system. Current AI systems lie and cheat all the time, even though they're trained not to do that. If the future paradigm looks anything like the current AI paradigm, we won't actually be able to tell what goals they actually have. We'll just be sort of looking at their behavior. Because we can't read and write to the goals directly, we are stuck on the outside doing this sort of behavioral training where we look at how it behaves and then reinforce it based on that. This is unfortunately what you're stuck with. But even if they are techniques that are going to work, you have to politically convince the relevant leaders. We could design design our AIs in this way, which would make them really smart, really fast. Or we could do this way, which is safer, but they're not as smart, not as fast. There'll be a whole series of choices like that. Part of my pessimism, I just expect them to basically pretty much consistently make the choice to go faster rather than the choice to slow down because of the race dynamics and because of the character of the people running this show. Basically, all the important decisions are being taken behind closed doors by CEO of a company, possibly in consultation with like the president's advisors who might be looped in, not in consultation with the scientific community or with the public. Of course, we don't tell people about what's going on inside our data centers with all the AIs automating the stuff that would leak information to China, to competitors.
America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it.
We made the guess that the company would basically be like, we are going to deliberately wake up the president, scare the president with all of these demos of crazy stuff that could happen, and then use that to lobby the president to help us go faster and to cut red tape and maybe slow down our competitors a little bit. You can imagine the companies trying to sort of keep the president in the dark. I do think that they could do that. Strategically, though, that would be quite risky for them, because if they keep the president in the dark about the fact that they're building superintelligence, if the president finds out anyway, he might be very upset at them and he might crack down really hard. To get him on their side, they have to make sure he's not surprised. Also, if they do get him on their side, they might be able to like actually go faster. They might be able to like get a lot of red tape waived. People ask about P-Doom. My P-Doom is sort of infamously high, like 70%. Part of the reason for that, I feel like a bunch of stuff has to go right. We can't just like unilaterally slow down and have China go take the lead. That also is a terrible feature. But if we just go all out on racing, we're going to lose control of our AIs. So we have to somehow like thread this needle, pivoting and doing more alignment research, but not too much that helps China win. But then there's like the concentration of power stuff where like somehow in the middle of doing all of that, the powerful people who are involved need to like somehow negotiate a truce between themselves to share power and then ideally spread that power out amongst the government, get the legislative branch involved. Otherwise, you end up with like this horrifying dictatorship or oligarchy. Feels like all that stuff has to go right, but it's kind of rough.
Technology is naturally a force that tends to create way more wealth, but really concentrate it. I think it'd be good to end poverty.
Who controls the AIs and what goals and values does the army of superintelligences have? Unfortunately, right now, not only is it the case that CEO gets to decide, there can be literal hidden agendas that the AIs have. That's all fine and funny when we're just talking about chatbots. But if you have a literal army of superintelligences, it's deadly serious if the CEO can be giving orders to that army and nobody knows.
Turning my microphone back on. And I will have one more piece of video to share that I'm going to be sharing at the end of the program. So we're going to take a look, a deep dive, so to say, into today's topic. And I want to say greetings to you. I see you in the house, Brother Eddie. He is joining us from YouTube. Eddie says, Grand Rising. I didn't think AI could think. Yeah, I didn't think that AI could think. But AI is deep language learning. More than deep language learning, it is mimicking each of us who use it. Ultimately, I am very concerned that one day AI will synthesize me. That's actually in today's study. And let's go deeper into the study for today. You let me know if you find this to be interesting. Welcome, Brother Eddie. And let me double check. Do we have any other more people logging in? Okay, we do. C4, Africa 1, and Brother Eddie. Welcome to the program today. Everybody, even if you're not announcing yourself, please do hit the like button. We'd love to know where you are, that you are with your family today, and that we are in a peace. Now I'm going to hit one more button here, and it's going to take a second. I hope I didn't overload the computer with too many streams, and it is coming up right now. I hope I didn't. Okay. All right, let's do the work that we have on store for today. I have an extensive document. Still, I'm loving using Notebook LM. I hope you saw last Thursday's Tech and Future Talk, because I have been using Notebook LM more and more and more. It is a Google program, and I did just see out of the corner of my eye a video, it was up on social media, called "The AI Contest is Over," and Google won. So that's interesting. I'm going to have to take a deeper look at that. But for today, today's study concludes that societies stand at a historic juncture where the moral, institutional, and symbolic centrality of work must be reconfigured. The traditional equation of labor with identity, legitimacy, and entitlement has become unsustainable, considering technological disruptions and structural inequality. Artificial intelligence, rather than solely threatening employment, exposes the deeper fragility of social contracts built on market-based inclusion. Now that reminds me of the book written by Klaus Schwab, published by the World Economic Forum, called The Great Reset. And you and I know that the Great Reset was COVID-19. For a while, they sent everyone home. Go work from your house. Just phone in or internet in, Zoom in, and work from your home. Now, increasingly, I am hearing people saying that that was the first stage of getting people used to not working in an office with other humans. It's dehumanizing. Might I suggest that another next phase of that the people are not only not working in the office, they may be working together for the same corporation and not even in the same country. Yesterday, I'm have to reconfigure my old telephone number, which couldn't dial out, and found out it was a modem. And to do my business with Vonage, I had to talk to, on one occasion, a man from India. I presume he was from India. And then the next week, I talked to another man from India. Vonage is based in America. And it took over from, what was it called? Basic something. It was my old telephone, IPTV, or not IP. It was IP, what do you call it? Internet radio. My telephone did not work. It was no longer on that. Basic Talk, it was called. Now Basic Talk was scooped up by Vonage. Let's go into today's topic. Introduction. The story we're told versus the reality we're building. For centuries, we've been gripped by what historians like Moker et al. Call, quote, automation anxiety. The recurring fear that the new machines will render humanity obsolete. Today, with the rise of artificial intelligence, that anxiety has reached a fever pitch. The headlines are dominated by a single stark question. Will a robot take my job? We envision a future of mass unemployment where human labor has been completely displaced, the Great Reset. But while we're focused on the number of jobs that might disappear, and the jobs report came out today, and it was the lowest new jobs report listing in 2 years or more. And since Donald Trump has been in office, there have been reportedly some 600,000 jobs missing in the U.S. So the most significant aspects of AI are not just about replacing us. They're about reconfiguring our value, exploiting our labor, and challenging our freedom. We will explore a chain of disruption that begins with the quiet devaluation of individual skills, extends to the exploitation of a hidden global workforce, creates a profound crisis of meaning, reshapes global power into a new colonial order, and culminates in the ultimate threat, the erosion of human autonomy itself, and according to the Wall Street Journal, the replacement of humans by AI, including in global security order. Now, I have up on my screen a slideshow that I put together for today. I'm going to put this slideshow on the screen right now. I'm going to take this off the stage, remove stop screen, and add the slideshow to the screen. I'm going to share this screen window over here, and you have the opportunity to see the slideshow that I prepared today using AI. Now, let me be honest. I'm going to be as honest as I can. It used to take me hours and to prepare a slideshow and PowerPoint. It would take me hours. Right now, it takes me, after I put up all the sources and Notebook LM, et cetera, I can hit the button that says prepare a slideshow for this, and it might only take 10 minutes at most to prepare something that is rather impressive. I'm going to go through this slideshow right now, navigating the AI paradox from irrelevance to reinvention. A strategic guide to the future of work, meaning, and the value in the age of intelligent machines. Let's go to the next slide. AI offers radical abundance. The default path leads to profound new paradoxes. The promise of AI is immense, unlocking new levels of creativity, productivity, and efficiency. However, this progress creates deep, unresolved tensions that challenge our economy, our society, and our very sense of self. The future is a choice between leveraging AI as a tool for human flourishing or succumbing to a future of technological disruption. The economic paradox, productivity versus precariousness. The so-so reality. We are seeing a rise in so-so automation. Example given, self-service checkouts and foxtomation, concealed human labor that displaces jobs without significant economic boosts or lower prices. Now, the foxtomation, they're talking about humans faking other humans, concealed human labor, such as you go to check in, you want tech support for a company that you know is based in the United States, but they give you a tech supporter who's based in India, Vietnam, Thailand. Even now, we're starting to see them coming in from Kenya. That's concealed human labor. Now, the corporations are saving a lot of money by outsourcing that labor. Are they cutting the prices of that service? Sometimes they have to because of the competition, but most of the times we see they are not cutting the price of that service. My Vonage service went from basic talk, I think it started off at $10 a month, and now they're charging me $21 a month for that extra telephone line. The impact that this destroys the career ladder for entry-level white-collar jobs, leading to a loss of intergenerational knowledge transmission. We're going to talk more about that degeneration of intergenerational knowledge transmission. What he's talking about is the older worker and the younger worker working together. Younger workers obviously paid less than the older worker, but the older worker transfers to the younger worker their knowledge, wisdom, and insights of the industry. Key analogy, NAFTA 2.0. Instead of outsourcing manufacturing, we're outsourcing cognitive labor to data centers, hollowing out the middle class. The human paradox, achievement versus apathy. Work is more than a paycheck. It's a primary source of social esteem, identity, and dignity. The achievement gap. If AI performs tasks with, quote, super efficiency, unquote, human attempts at the same achievements can feel irrational and pointless. The striving gap. This erodes the very intention to achieve objectively the valuable results, undermining a core source of meaning. A post-work society risks becoming a post-meaning society. Pope John Paul argued that we become more human through work. What happens if AI deprives us of the work that makes us human? Future stakes. Oh, I skipped one. Let's go back. Here we go. Don't do 2 pages, do 1. Okay. The power paradox. Connection versus colonialism. This quote from Yuval Harari. When you have enough data, you don't need to send soldiers in order to control a country. When you control the data, if everyone on the planet is using Google, then Google becomes a weapon of colonial warfare. The AI revolution concentrates immense wealth and power in a few high-tech hubs. Other nations risk becoming exploited, quote, data colonies, unquote. Their populations reduced to a useless class, not exploited merely for labor, but simply irrelevant to the economic and political systems. The workplace impact. This power imbalance manifests as algorithmic management, where workers are monitored, regimented, and de-skilled by bots, reducing their professional judgment and dignity. We saw a lot of that workplace impact during the aftermath of the year 2020 with the COVID-19 declaration of a pandemic. A lot of sovereignty was transferred into the hands of these corporations. I almost said the F word. The stakes, a future of hackable humans. B times C times D equals AHH. That equation, biological knowledge times computing power times data, is the ability to hack humans. And let me tell you, people are turning over their autonomy to this system. We talked about people turning over their autonomy to the system by the DNA ancestry test. That's been confirmed. Our fears were correct. Not just turning it over to possibly giving it to them, then they share it with law enforcement, but actually giving it to them now that AI is present. They can essentially have enough data to reconstruct you. Biological knowledge times computing power times data equals the ability to hack humans. We are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. This enables the rise of digital dictatorships and the end of autonomous decision making. Quote from Tristan Harris: "This is the last moment that human political power will matter. It is sort of a use it or lose it moment." That quote from Tristan Harris. We continue. The future is not yet written. Technology is never deterministic. The default pattern is not our destiny. We have the agency and the responsibility to choose a different direction. But we have got to be united. We've got to be able to speak up. We got to be able to be heard. Because if we're not heard, then I guess he's right. It's right. We just don't matter. Let's go forward, just double checking, see if anybody is talking to me. If anybody hits the like button, I know for Africa One and Eddie, you are responsive, but a whole lot of people out there are just not responsive. Let's go forward. New foundation. Let's talk about solutions here. Calls to action. New foundation 1. We must take responsibility to redefine value. The core concept here, we must decouple human worth from economic output and employment status. This requires a new, quote, ethics of recognition. And it's interesting that I'm reading this today, ethics of recognition, because today the news reported that the new it was a Don Roe doctrine. Donald Trump has inserted himself in the Monroe Doctrine. He said the new doctrine is really about his own morality and values. That's what he said. I'm paraphrasing. But you know that is absolutely frightening. Frightening, frightening. Ethics of recognition. Action, formally value and recognize invisible labor that sustains the social fabric but remains outside formal market metrics. So the key points here: caregiving, community building, artistic creativity, and volunteering. This shift grounds dignity in our shared humanity, not our productivity. It's very clear. Please write those down. Caregiving, community building, artistic creation, and volunteering. Calls to action. New foundation number 2. Secure the floor. With a new definition of value, we need new systems for security that acknowledge contributions beyond formal employment. Option A is universal basic income, UBI. The mechanism, it redistributes money. The goal, provides unconditional income to support real freedom, personal growth, and diverse forms of non-waged but socially beneficial labor. Now, the universal basic income has been talked about more and more. The key is where is the universal basic income going to come from? If this is talking about distributing money so that everyone has a basic income, then essentially what they're talking about is taxing the uber rich, the billionaires and the trillionaires who will have more than enough money to break you off a few $1,000s a month. Breaking you off a few $1,000s a month means they're going to break themselves off for a few $100,000s of dollars from the existing labor market. Option B, job guarantee schemes. The mechanism, it redistributes work. The goal, the state acts as an employer of last resort in socially valuable fields, care, and the environment, preserving work as a source of meaning and social purpose for those who desire it. Next slide. New tools, augment, don't annihilate. We must actively direct innovation by subsidizing and building, quote, human complementary AI, unquote. The goal is to empower workers, not simply replace them. The old model, replacement. The new model, empowerment. Key metaphors, computers as, quote, bicycles of the mind, AI as, quote, a genius in your pocket. New rhythm. Let's reclaim our time. The most direct way to distribute the benefits of automation is through time. Time is money. Let the productivity bandwagon of AI fund a richer life, not just richer corporations, not just richer companies. So this shows you a 4-day work week and a 3-day weekend. With AI, productivity is allowing us to enjoy that 3-day weekend, increased leisure time and personal development, more time for community engagement and the invisible labor that strengthens society. New rules govern the future. Technology is never deterministic. Human governance is our steering wheel for navigating the AI revolution. On a global level, we need international rules to prevent a destructive AI arms race and a global system of data colonies. Data wealth must be shared to prevent the bankruptcy of nations left behind. And as African people on this planet, we have 54 countries we have to protect, project into the future, and ensure that the children of Africa have equal rights, just as everyone else on this planet. We're going to have to work. We're really going to have to work on that. I wrote a note to my friend in Kenya today, and we're working on a project together. And I said, my purpose is to make LIBRadio a valuable, credible asset for all of Eastern Africa. And he wrote back and he said, yes, that's great. We're going to have 2 guests are going to be on with us next Wednesday from East Africa to talk about their role in exposing the phony environmental movement in their country. It's really about colonization of their minerals. Corporate national level, we need guardrails to protect worker agency, prevent harmful algorithmic management, and ensure a baseline of protections for the creation and use of digital replicas, including consent, compensation, and control. Your role in the future by design. Here, one sec. Your role in a future by design, securing your place in the future, requires conscious action on 3 fronts. 1, as leader, champion human complementary technology. Invest in reskilling and redesigning jobs to augment human capabilities, not just eliminate them. That's why I am so intensely studying and teaching the Thursday course in AI, because I'm reskilling and we're going to do the best we can. Professional, embrace AI as a tool, a genius in your pocket. Master your craft and use technology to enhance your unique skills. Refuse to participate in fox-tomation, fake automation. Citizen, demand a new conversation. Don't let this future be decided by Silicon Valley alone. Advocate for policies that redefine value and secure human dignity. Make AI a tier 1 political issue. AI is not a niche tech issue. It is a foundational issue that reconstitutes every other major challenge we face. Climate, education, inequality, and democracy itself. It cannot be a footnote in political discourse. We must demand that our leaders understand the stakes and commit to a conscious, humane path forward. Clarity is courage. If people have clarity, that clarity creates the courage to say, yeah, I don't want that. The future of work isn't about AI. It's about us. Research and insights from Brookings, this whole thing was made up from insights from Brookings Metro, the Center for Humane Technology, and from Data and Society. So that is the presentation that I had prepared for today. I hope you find it to be useful and informative. And to the best of our ability, we're going to do better tomorrow for our children. We must. Comment from For Africa 1. Is there the will or even the capacity to resist this imperialistic technological warfare? I can assure you there is the will. At this particular point is where the will is concentrated. Is this group capable of resisting? Because we must not only resist for ourselves, but we've got to resist for the larger society, most of whom are passive, are so engaged in the trivialities of their own lifestyle, and convinced that those trivialities are very important to them, that they're not going to work on behalf of society. So it's up to you and I. She asks, am I being pessimistic? But I don't see the lumpens in the front line of resistance. That's right. They're not. The lumpens are on social media. They are TikToking, dancing, trying to become influencers, hitting likes, and trying to protect their So you are right, beloved. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to do the best that we can. And hopefully do even better in the future. So let's move forward. I'm going to go back to the documentation, the paperwork I have today, and we're going to do the best we can to get through a lot more. We got 45 minutes to go through this. AI's quiet invasion. Number one, it's not replacing your job. It's devaluing it. The most immediate threat for many professionals is an outright replacement of the quiet degradation and devaluation of their work. This is happening through foxtomation, a phenomenon where human labor is concealed beneath a veneer of automation. For example, copywriters are no longer hired to write original text, but to edit and rehumanize poorly written AI-generated drafts, often for less pay and credit. The task remains, but its value and the skill required are diminished. This reveals a dual purpose for AI in the workplace, not merely to augment productivity, but to deepen managerial oversight and enforce uniformity. The data generated by a copywriter editing an AI draft becomes a training manual or material for the very algorithmic systems that will monitor, script, and discipline their future performance, creating a powerful self-reinforcing loop of control. This leads to a broken ladder effect, destroying the apprenticeship model of professional development. As thinkers like Molly Kinder and Tristan Harris have noted, AI is becoming proficient at the very tasks that once formed the training ground for junior professionals, from drafting legal memos to writing basic codes. By automating these foundational steps, we risk destroying the career pipelines that create future experts. This could have devastating consequences, disproportionately harming recent diversity gains in industries like Hollywood, where junior roles have been a crucial pathway for underrepresented talent. But this devastation of professional work is only half the story. It is enabled by an entirely different and far more hidden form of human labor. This quote from Yuval Noah Harari, Yuval, quote, technology might also disrupt human society and the very meaning of human life in numerous ways, ranging from the creation of a global useless class to the rise of data colonialism and of digital dictatorships. Yuval Noah Harari. Point 2. The hidden human engine. AI's intelligence is an illusion. The myth of a fully autonomous sentient AI obscures a crucial truth. AI is entirely dependent on the vast, invisible human supply chain required to make it appear autonomous. Researchers Mary Gray and Siddharth Suri have termed this, quote, ghost work, the labor of millions of people around the world who clean, label, and fine-tune the data that AI models ingest. This global underclass often works under poor conditions for low wages. Reports have exposed how U.S. companies in places like Kenya and the Philippines flout local labor laws, paying workers less than $2 an hour to filter toxic and explicit content from AI training sets. The development of AI is not a story of pure technological brilliance. It is built on the foundation of this precarious and often exploitive labor. But the human engine doesn't stop with data anointers and annotators, I should say. AI models are also trained by scraping the creative work of writers, artists, and programmers without their consent or compensation, prompting a wave of lawsuits. Meanwhile, major media companies are striking licensing deals with AI labs. A movie journalist, Hamilton Nolan, compares to, quote, selling your house for firewood, unquote. Selling your house for firewood, effectively trading the long-term value of their unique content for short-term cash infusions from the very companies seeking to make that content obsolete. With AI's vaunted intelligence revealed as a product of global exploitation, the Silicon Valley promise of a, quote, post-work paradise, unquote, built upon it, demands far greater scrutiny. Point 3. The post-work paradise is a philosophical minefield. A common narrative out of Silicon Valley suggests that AI will usher in a post-work utopia. In this vision, automation creates a world of radical abundance where universal basic income, UBI, frees humanity from the need to work. While appealing, this vision overlooks a critical component of the human experience, meaning. For many, work is far more than a paycheck. As economists Daron Acemoglu and Simon Johnson argue, work provides purpose, community, and self-esteem. A sentiment echoed in many traditions, including what Molly Kinder notes is the Catholic Church's long-standing emphasis on the dignity of work. Philosopher John Danaher warns of an achievement gap, the loss of a key source of meaning when the challenges and accomplishments of work are removed from our lives. This debate, however, is not a simple choice between work and idleness. Scholar David A. Sensor presents a different vision, arguing that the goal shouldn't be to preserve work structure at all costs, but to reform its role in our lives. He notes that a singular focus on good jobs, quote unquote, can miss workers' own desire for more leisure and meaning outside of work. In this view, technology should be harnessed to lighten labor, reducing work hours and drudgery to create a better balance between a meaningful job and a meaningful life. The challenge isn't just replacing income, but redesigning our relationship with both labor and leisure. There is considerable evidence suggesting that people are more satisfied and are more engaged with their community when they are contributing value to society. The universal basic income cannot replace the psychological and social value of work. That from Deran Acemoglu and Simon Johnson. Point 4. The new global order. Now this reminds me, I read this earlier, this reminds me of the book that I put together recently, Disaster Preparedness for World Wars 5 and 6. Well, this is World War 5, the new global order. Are you in a high-tech hub or a data colony? I'm outside of Silicon Valley, but I am contributing to technology and data promotion in society. But I am a hyper consumer like most of us. So am I a data colony or am I in a high-tech hub? The inequality created by AI isn't just between classes. It's between entire countries. Historian Yuval Noah Harari warns that AI is poised to divide the world into a few high-tech hubs and many exploited data colonies, concentrating immense wealth and power in the hands of the few nations that control the technology. The economic mechanism driving this shift is what former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris calls, quote, NAFTA 2.0. Just as the 1990s trade agreement outsourced manufacturing and hollowed out the middle class in developed nations, AI is now outsourcing cognitive labor. A country of geniuses, quote unquote, in a data center, as Harris puts it. It can perform knowledge work for less than minimum wage. This is how Harari's data colonies are formed. The high-tech hubs create the AI, which then undermines the middle class professions in other nations, turning them into dependent providers of raw data and cheap ghost work. This creates a terrifying new form of geopolitical control. As Harari explains, when a company or a foreign power has enough data on every politician, judge, and journalist in your country, they don't need to send in soldiers to control it. The ability to know their weaknesses, secrets, and motivations is a form of power more subtle and perhaps more absolute than military force. Point 5, and I hope you find this to be interesting. I'm not getting any comment. Let me double check over here and see if anyone is engaging with me. And we're not engaging right now, but I know you are listening. I hope you are. Let me double check, see how many people do I have listening to the show right now. Not very good. We're going to do the best we can. I can't think of any more important topic at the beginning of this 2026. This is really ramping up. And in a video I'm going to show a little bit later, the proponent who was helpful for launching one of these major chat boxes says 2027 is a year when we cross the Rubicon, that super intelligence will become implemented. And that's going to put a lot of misery on the humanity side of this river. Let's go forward. We continue. Threat number 5, the ultimate threat. AI isn't just coming for your job. It's hacking your mind. Beyond the economic and social risk lies a personal existential threat. The ultimate danger of AI, Harari argues, is not that robots will rebel against us, but that AI will gain the ability to, quote, hack humans, unquote. He posits a simple, chilling equation. B times C times D equals AHH. Biological knowledge times computing power times data equals the ability to hack humans. We're no longer mysterious souls, he says, but hackable animals, quote unquote. For the first time in history, external systems can possess a more accurate and predictive understanding of our internal states than we do ourselves, turning our own biology against us. This power could lead to the rise of digital dictatorships. Imagine a future North Korea where citizens wear biometric bracelets that monitor their emotional reactions. When listening to a speech by the great leader, the state knows if you are truly loyal or just pretending. Dissent becomes not just dangerous, but impossible to hide. And might I say, you don't have to go all the way to North Korea to look for a digital dictator like that. You merely have to drive to Washington, D.C. This may seem like a distant science fiction, but authority is already shifting from humans to algorithms in our daily lives. The Facebook algorithm tells us what is new. The Google algorithm tells us what is true. And the Amazon algorithm tells us what to buy. What does human freedom truly mean when our choices are increasingly guided, manipulated, and made for us by non-human intelligence? Conclusion: a future we must choose, not a fate that we must accept. The story of AI is not a simple narrative of job loss. It is a complex story about the devaluation of human skills, the exploitation of hidden labor, a crisis of meaning, the birth of data colonialism, and the potential erosion of human freedom. But technology is not destiny. These outcomes are not inevitable. We are, as Tristan Harris says, quote, in a use it or lose it moment. For human political power to shape this technology for the better. The path of AI is not yet set. The question is no longer what this technology can do, but what we will have the collective courage to demand it does for and not to humanity. Going forward, shocking revelations. These sources provide several startling and radical insights into the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence and its potential to destabilize society. Here are the most revealing points. Point 1, the dawn of Silicon sovereign. Existential and security threats. Deals with point A, hyper scaling power. AI models are scaling at an unprecedented rate, with capabilities expected to increase by 50 to 100 times within the next 5 years. Wow. Point 2, day zero attacks. Raw, unreleased models already demonstrate the ability to discover and execute day zero cyber attacks, unknown variabilities, as well as or better than humans. So we're talking about cyber warfare driven by AI. Nuclear level security. High-value AI models may soon require physical protection equivalent to plutonium factories, involving multiple layers of machine gun guards, and high security data centers. Point 4, recursive self-improvement. There is a risk of AI systems inventing their own languages to communicate with other agents. Commentators suggest that if humans can no longer understand what AI is saying, we must be prepared to, quote, pull the plug. Next point, next category, societal and social upheaval. The useless class. AI is described as a flood of digital immigrants, unquote, capable of performing cognitive labor at superhuman speeds for less than minimum wage, potentially rendering the working class economically irrelevant. NAFTA 2.0. AI is compared to a more extreme version of the North American Free Trade Area or Agreement. While the 1990s outsourced manufacturing, AI is outsourcing cognitive labor to data centers, threatening to hollow out the middle class entirely. Next point, the kill ratio in warfare. AI has fundamentally changed the logic of war, where a $5,000 drone can now destroy a $5 million tank, making traditional hardware like tanks nearly obsolete. Next point, the loss of intergenerational knowledge. Because AI is, quote, better, unquote, than junior level professionals like law graduates, companies may stop hiring them. This breaks the pipeline of training, meaning there may be no future senior experts who actually understand this work. Next point, human vulnerability and governance. Human vulnerability and governance, the striving gap. As AI achieves super efficiency, human achievements like running a marathon or solving a math problem may begin to feel irrational or meaningless. Point 2, pre-traumatic stress disorder. Pre-traumatic stress disorder. Tristan Harris describes a state of, quote, seeing the train wreck coming years in advance, specifically regarding children's mental health and the, quote, dumpster fire of digital culture. Next point, no adults in the room. A revealing realization is that the leaders in government often do not understand the software eating the world's structures, leaving a vacuum of responsibility and stewardships. No adults in the room. And point, the under the hood bias. Society often feels it cannot criticize AI because they don't understand the engineering. But commentators argue you don't need to know how an engine works to advocate for speed limits and brakes to prevent accidents. That's a good point. These points suggest we are in a use it or lose it moment for human political power. And I think all of that was really quite interesting, obviously, because I put the research together. I would love to hear what you have to say about what we talked about. What do you have to say about today's discussion? Because this is a very important point that we are making today. I do see my sister is in the house, and I thank you so much for Africa One. You do know how much that means to me. To be honest, Brother Keaty, I find this truly depressing. You are right. I am feeling the same way you feel. I see the tide of acceptance sweeping across most of the relationships I encounter. The acceptance is passivity. We do the best we can in every encounter, and I'm showing you what I'm going through, and I think you're probably going to feel the same sentiment. We do the best in every encounter to share with people, to take autonomous control of your life. Exit from the matrix. Eat better. Exercise. Take off the extra weight. Get yourself fit. Your brain, your cognitive skills, keep them up. Read, study, grow. Stop engaging in passive social media. We do the best we can. But it's overwhelming. Sometimes people will tell us to our face, yeah, you're right. I'm going to do better next month. For my New Year's resolution, I'm going to do better. And then New Year's comes, and we're kind of stuck, or they're kind of still stuck in the same behavioral patterns, because like a major ship traveling across an ocean takes a lot of work to redirect that ship and to turn it in a new direction. But we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep on going. And to the best of our abilities, we're going to do better. So we show them by living example what could be done. We show by living example how much better our lives could be, because we have decided to make that change. I'm going to go ahead and play this final piece of video, because I think I have kind of scared everybody. And I wish I could say I scared them into compliance. But we're going to do the best we can to the very best of our abilities. Now, this one is entitled How ChatGPT is weirdly turning into Facebook. And we got to take this seriously. ChatGPT, what do they mean? How ChatGPT is turning into Facebook? It's simple. People are now engaging with ChatGPT on a personal basis. A human and a robot or an algorithm are exchanging back and forth and back and forth. For those who are looking for a companion, people are out here, they're lonely. People are lonely. And we better take that seriously. We better look out for our fellow humans. It's said that how many, I want to answer this question real quick. We did a program on this. How many men today are lonely in society with few friends, close friends, and associates? I'm answering that question. Cite the research. And let's go. And people are engaging more with Chat GPT. We did this program on LIBRadio not long ago. Male loneliness and isolation, what the data shows. We've got this from Pew Research Center. I've got it from a number of different sites, but I'm going to take this from AIBM.org. And I don't know what AIBM, this is the American Institute for Boys and Men. Male loneliness and isolation, what the data shows, from Isaac Bledsoe. Key takeaways. Time spent alone has risen for both men and women over the past 2 decades, with similar rates of reported loneliness, emotional support, and close friendships. Point 2, around 70% of both men and women feel adequately supported socially and emotionally. Point 3, men are somewhat more likely to be socially isolated than women. They're more likely to say that they are, quote, not meaningfully part of any group or community, for example. Point 4, men and women socialize differently. Women engage friends and family more often, while men engage in group activities. And point 5, overall, there appears to be much more of a class gap as measured by education level than a gender gap in loneliness and isolation. And this has been declared as an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. Now, I'm just going to real quickly, I'm pulling up another reference, and it's coming up very slow. And if it doesn't come up faster, I'm going to just dump it or come back to it. Our epidemic of loneliness and isolation. This came across on a PDF. I'm going to copy and paste this one here. And I'm pasting it up on the Rumble. I'm going to paste this up on YouTube. And Eddie, I see you in the house. I asked, what do you have to say? He says, very interesting. Sound like shock. Very interesting. Please don't, I'm talking to myself, don't reference Kevin Hart's commercial for sports betting ever again. So I put the link up so you can see the document, and it talks about our epidemic of loneliness and isolation. This comes from 2023. And we better take these things seriously, because AI is stepping in and say, I want to be your friend. So the point that I was making is in the video how ChatGPT is weirdly turning into Facebook. I'm going to put this one on the screen real quickly. Share screen. How ChatGPT, it's there. Go back, put it up onto the desktop, and I'm going to take you out with this video. It's going to be running for, how long is this video run? It goes for how ChatGPT, the video is about 16 minutes long. I'm coming in around 2 minutes 40 seconds, so I'm going to allow it to play less than 5 minutes, and I'm going to mute myself, and you are now on with the video. I may come back and say goodbye to you all. Be right with you.
Looks like it's gonna be the next Google, but instead, something weird was going on. Yes, they launched ChatGPT Search to search the web. Yeah, they're building a web browser. All the Google typical moves. But at the same time, they're doing something much more interesting. They rolled out a memory feature that remembers your birthday, your job, or the name of your dog. They launched a voice mode with laughter that sounds like a friend rather than a search engine.
Me? The announcement is about me?
They built a $200 a month pro subscription that they're actually losing money on. They just made a deal for $6.5 billion, not for better AI or more servers, but on a hardware company with no product run by Johnny Ive, the guy who designed the iPhone. Something's going on here.
You know, with AI,
you can create any character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge Hollywood budgets,
Complex software.
They're not just talking about adding ads to ChatGPT, but they've updated their policy to allow adult content generation for verified users. That's not trying to be the next Google. That's trying to be something else. For how much ChatGPT looks like it's in a perfect spot to become the next Google, there's actually 3 main reasons why they might be forced to become something completely different. And the first one is this. This is the cost of a Google search. How much it actually costs to deliver you, the list of blue links. And this is the average cost of an interaction with ChatGPT. ChatGPT's economics are broken. And it's not just the fact that it's expensive. Google handles 8.5 billion searches a day. If ChatGPT had to handle that volume with these costs, they would burn through their entire valuation in months. And that's barely scratching the surface. See, Google became the Google that we know, being able to spend billions to develop self-driving cars cars with Waymo, mapping the world with Google Maps, because they stumbled upon one of the best business models of all time, selling ads on searches. This is so insanely profitable that they have the resources to fund everything else, all their side quests. But here's what most people don't realize. And back when they started, what they were doing, creating super fast search engine that dynamically ranked hundreds of billions of pages, it was unheard of. So they had to build everything from scratch. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the Google co-founders, literally built their first server out of Lego bricks. 10 4GB hard drives stacked together in a cabinet made of Legos because it was cheap and easy to modify. If you go to Stanford University, you can actually see it. And that scrapping engineering mindset became their entire philosophy. Instead of buying expensive enterprise servers like everyone else, Google bought 15,000 cheap PCs instead of expensive supercomputers, and they wrote their own software to make it all work. And today, Google has over 2 million custom design servers. They make their TPUs, AI chips. They're so invested in them, they now use Microsoft data centers for the most part. And they're definitely paying for that. You cannot out-Google Google when you're paying rent to someone else. But there's something else Google did. See, they're selling ads on search to make them rich. It shaped how billions of people think the internet should work. When I tell my friends that don't work in tech that I pay $200 a month for Claude Max or $20 a month for Gemini, they look at me like I'm insane. You really pay for that? Think about it. How many regular people do you know that use ChatGPT but actually pay for the $20 a month subscription? Google trained an entire generation to expect the internet and internet searching to be free. Email should be free. Maps should be. The browser should be free. And all of this was subsidized by the giant moneymaker, which was Google Search. OpenAI is trying to play the same game. Offer it for free, build a habit, and convert them later. But this is where it gets interesting. Because if you look at the actual products, the UI of how these two work and feel like, they're completely different. When you Google something, what do? You want to find an answer and leave. Get in and get out. Google is designed to make you go away, to be the fastest. It even tells you how fast it was loading things. They make money from that brief moment that you're there. And this whole interaction costed them practically nothing. But ChatGPT is built for you to stay. The chatbot UI immediately makes it a conversation. The main action you can take is not to click a link to go somewhere, but to ask something else. Type another message, add another file, continue the conversation. The product is optimized to keep you there, to go deeper, to spend more time on the platform. A product that wants to keep you as engaged as possible for as long of a time as possible. That's built on other people's content. Yeah, you're right. That's not Google. That's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. See, ChatGPT wanted to be Google, but it has accidentally built a product with Facebook's engagement model, but still without Facebook's monetization engine. So now, what do? You're bleeding money with billions of people that are not used to paying your subscription, and you have to maintain this insanely expensive machine. So of course, you start to run ads. ChatGPT is testing out ads in the responses for a while now. Code has been found in the Android app that hints at this, and early testers have been leaked using ChatGPT ads. Even though both Google and Meta make money on ads, the way they do it is completely different. And this is why reason number 2 may be even more problematic than the money. But before we get into that, let me show you a piece of how this video was made. See, thanks to the sponsor of this video, I created this workflow that automates something that I used to take hours to do before. This automation takes the most important tech news from all kinds of sources like X, Hacker News, blogs, and aggregates it into a digest that gets sent directly to my Notion database. This other one lets me instead see all the top videos about tech that are being released and see which titles and thumbnails are working best right now, populating this huge database. These are the starting point for the articles that made this video possible, or the thumbnail and title that you ended up clicking to get here. See, this work used to take me hours and hours every week, but now I can finally automate it. What you're seeing is N8N. It's the most popular automation tool out there, and you can use it to automate repetitive and even super complex work. It's so incredibly powerful, but it has a problem. You need to get and pay for your own service.
All right, he went into a extended commercial, and that was a nice piece of video. I did most certainly appreciate what he was saying, and he didn't say what I thought he was going to say, and I am very interested in what he was closing with. I'll go back and check that out later, see if I can use that to begin to streamline my productivity over here. Because of the AI tools, I will admit my productivity, my ease, my facility at producing the podcast daily is definitely, no doubt, facilitated. And that's to be appreciated. I do look forward to having more guests on LIBRadio, which is to me valuing the humanity as opposed to merely going with you, the listener, and me having access to the technology. So we're going to do the best that we can to continue to progress. Today is Friday. It's the end of another good, productive work week here on LIBRadio. Tomorrow is Saturday. I do take a break from podcasting, and then we come back on Sunday with the Mastermind, our think tank group. So I hope you did find this week to be compelling, fascinating. I hope you learned something this week. We had a great week of broadcasts. What did we do this week? Today was, of course, Beyond the Hype, 5 Unsettling Ways AI is Quietly Remaking Our World. Yesterday, we did do a 28-day challenge, week 17 from the LIBRadio, and I can't remember what it was, but it was good. We did pick up some new tasks, some new tools yesterday. We talked about on Wednesday, your mind is an elite athlete and you can train it up to its potential. That is definitely a good program to add. To Vaccinate or Not was our Tuesday program. And things you need to know as a parent or as a person who would maybe be vulnerable to the propaganda about vaccines. And then the first healthy program we did this year, starting the new year with a new cellular you. So we got into the stem cell research, and that stem cell research is that I put in my book, The Stem Cell Revolution, Natural Holistic Ways to Upgrade Our Stem Cell Functionality, Differentiation, and Activation, the Future of Regenerative Medicine. That book is awesome. I give you a long subtitle, but the book is awesome. So we're doing great things to the best of our abilities, but it's not good enough. Because until I can convince everyone out here to participate and create a paradigm by which all Africans globally are protected and defended, we don't want to become data colonies. We want to be autonomous. China, and then later India, gave us a good idea of what that autonomy could look like, even though I am not going to say that many Indians are not being exploited by AI, colonized by AI. No, it is happening. Their labor is being captured. And that's a whole nother conversation that just opened up in my mind. They do not want India to follow the Chinese model. The Chinese control over the Chinese is out of American colonizers' hands. But it is in the hands of the CPP, the Chinese Communist Party, which they're socialists. And so therefore they do a better job of looking out for their people than they can ever expect Americans to do. We got to make sure we secure that Chinese model. It's going to be tough. But there's no need for us to stay pessimistic. I am optimistic because I am on the front line. I have as many irons as I can. We're going to do the best we can to do even better. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on the LIBRadio, LIBTV, and livinginblack.com. We'll be talking soon.